until we call you on to ask your question. Firstly, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us on this very special virtual media interaction with the Indian women's hockey team. We're joined by Chief Coach Yannicka Shopman and the captain Savita. I request you all to please raise your hand or leave me the question on the chat box so I can come to you. Firstly, Savi,
yeah,
I'm sure everyone wants to know, after that dramatic match yesterday, there was so much talk on social media. There were so many calls I attended from a lot of your fans, media, everyone. Tell us what happened after that match. What did coach tell you? And how did you guys bounce back today?
yeah. Okay. मैं एज ए सीनियर प्लेयर और एज ए कैप्टन ये मेडल अपने कोच को उनका पूरा क्रेडिट है उसमें, क्योंकि जो भी हमने पिछले 2 साल में काम किया एंड उसके बाद से जैसे हमारे साथ जो सेमीफाइनल में टीम थोड़ा सा डाउनफॉल हुआ एकदम से कि ओके ये क्या हो गया, तो एक कल का दिन था जिसमें हमें वापस से यानी कहने की ओके ये हमें कल के मैच में चाहे फाइनल है या वो थर्ड फोर्थ का मैच है, मैच हमें सिर्फ मैच की तरह ही खेलना है, अंटिल लास्ट मिनट तक हमें फाइट करना है, गिव अप नहीं करना है एंड विल सी क्या रिजल्ट रहता है। और या अब सब बहुत खुश है। अभी तक एक दूसरे शायद ग्राउंड में थोड़ा सेलिब्रेट किया, उसके बाद से एक साथ इकट्ठे भी नहीं हुए। आज हमने लंच फ्री किया है और जैसे ये इंटरव्यूज खत्म हो गए हम वापस से एक दूसरे से मिलना चाहते हैं, टीम में एक दूसरे को देखना चाहती है शायद।
Absolutely, I can imagine. Manuja has first question from the media. Manuja, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, coach. Congratulations to the entire team. Congratulations, Savita. Coach, after that gut-wrenching loss to Australia, what was your thought process? What was that one thing you told the team?
No, we gave it our all in that game, and a lot has been said and done. But of course, it wasn't great how the shootouts were started. Basically, it is what it is, though, and I think we have to accept that, and the girls did, and at the same time you have to give it time and space. So we had a short meeting when we came back here in the village, and I just said, just be sad, be angry, be frustrated, be whatever you need to be for a while, because it is not fair maybe, and it is frustrating. And then tomorrow we'll have a longer meeting, we'll discuss this, and then we'll move forward, because just needs time to settle, and then we'll put a big fat line under it, and then we know we can bounce back. So we did, and the next morning I think the girls also had their own meeting, and we moved forward, and I know they can. They're very resilient and they're very tough.
Thanks, coach.
Manuja, next question from Vinayak.
Thanks, Nandini. Congrats, Savita, on the win on the bronze. Coach, quick question to you. So mostly on the Australia match, did that match feel like a vindication of where you think the team is headed? Because before the Commonwealth Games, you had said that the direction is the right direction that you're heading, and we can compete with anyone. Despite the result, did that feel like a vindication of sorts for what you have been believing so far?
Yeah, it is. It is. I think, of course, people look at the results. That's how sports work. But when you're building and developing a team, you have to look at so much more than just the outcome and the end result in a game. And I know we can play hockey well. And I think the World Cup has given us a lot of valuable lessons. And, coming into that semi-final, I thought we started not great, but then afterwards we actually had the ball, we tried to score, and we played actually quite well. And I think that the belief is there that we can actually perform and participate, or actually dominate and have the ball more than other teams as well. And it takes time, and we need to improve tons and tons of things. But I know we can compete with everyone. I really know that.
Just as a follow-up, the loss was the Australia match in Tokyo and the Australia match in Birmingham, that sort of completes a journey, so to speak, do you think? Where?
Tomo, you will have to keep yourself on mute. Yeah. Go ahead, Vinayak.
Yeah, so just a comparison on like the Australia match in Tokyo and the Australia match in Birmingham, and the journey that the team has been since, where you had to defend a lot in Tokyo, but in Birmingham you almost like went toe to toe with Australia.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's also a question that I asked the girls when I took over as the head coach. Who do we want to be as a team? What is our DNA? What kind of hockey do we want to play? Yeah, we have to work hard. That's a given. I'm not going to even compliment you if you work hard. That is what we do. That's a staple. But I think there's so much talent in India. The girls have great hands. They are great on the ball. So why would we say that the other team should have the ball more than we? And I think that's the transition we're trying to make. We want to play hockey. We want to play short combination passes. We want to get on the ball. We want to make good decisions on the ball. And it will take time because it's different than, you know, just defending and using our speed in transition. And I think we have to find a blend of both. And yeah, I know we can play hockey, and I think we've shown that.
Fantastic. Next question from Harpreet.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations, Savita, and to the entire team. Coach, I want to ask you, I mean, this was a tough game against New Zealand even today, like last moment, suddenly the score and the shootout. But what we saw later on was a very emotional Yannick, which we have not seen before. So I want to understand, like, according to us, you are a person always in control. You know, so what were those emotions about? If you can talk about them, and what does this victory mean to you?
I'm still emotional, and if you say I'm always in control, you should ask the girls. I don't think I am. I can be, but I think for me, you know, it's been a tough couple of weeks. I know, and I so strongly believe that we can win. I know we can play well as well, and we have been doing that. Like I said, in the World Cup, a lot of games were 50-50, and it just fell the wrong way for us, whether it's a pool game against China or it's like the Spain game or whatever it was. So, you know, and we're close against Australia, we're close against England here. And then, you know, you play this bronze medal match, and again, I just want them to win, and not because I don't think we're doing the right thing. I know we're doing the right thing, but sometimes you just want a medal, and as a player, that's why you play for. And you know, then we did it the hard way again by conceding a goal, and it's life. It's what happens in a game. But I know they could do it. So for me, the emotions were, you know, I just wanted them to win, and they finally won, and they got that medal they so much deserved. So that's why I was emotional. I still am, by the way.
All of us are emotional, definitely emotional. Wait until you come back to India, you'll see the emotions. But next, I call upon Jitendranath Mishra. He was the former ambassador. He worked as a former ambassador. He's a huge fan of hockey. He's also written plenty of articles. Jitendra, sir, if you could unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Yes, Coach Yannick and Savita, my warmest congratulations. I have written about you. I hope Monica got that.
Yeah.
आपको दिखाया article?
हाँ जी sir.
I hope Yannick has seen my article. I wrote this after the World Cup, saying that you know, the Indian media. I know that there are media persons here, but there's one comment. I really request you, please don't be negative. They work very hard. In India, we are just very negative. It's baffling. Now, the question is the following. One question is about fitness and technical. Yannick, you fielded the A team in the Pro League, unlike Germany, unlike the Netherlands. We won a match against the Netherlands, and we went to the moon, which was, I think, we are playing a team that had very few international caps. And Germany sent their junior team, and they won the bronze medal in the Junior World Cup. And we fielded the best team. Now, so are we going to finally change our strategy? I know in India, it's about outcome. Everybody wants to win, so you put the best team, but nobody talks about development. And secondly, related to that, is fatigue. Was fatigue a factor in the World Cup? Because when you are playing, the girls have been out of in very tough situations for more than 3 months. You've been out. So when you feel the same players and even the same goalkeeper, with great respect to Savita, in the crunch matches, most of the time. So are you going to change into a more European mindset in fielding the kind of players you do?
like you have to understand one thing, that before Tokyo, we had some practice games, and there were practice games, so not even official games. And we played Germany and Argentina, and I spoke to the girls in our team, and they said they've never played Argentina competitively before at the highest level, or Germany for that matter. So the choice in Pro League to field our senior players is because our senior players might have played over 150 caps, but not games against European top countries or teams like Argentina that actually matter. And the Pro League games gave us this platform where we had to perform under pressure. And as much as I would have liked to field more junior players, I felt the need that our senior players also need that experience of consistently performing under pressure. And unfortunately, we're not in Pro League next year. And it's always a tight balance. I completely agree with you that development has to be at the forefront. And I also believe, and you can ask, I think, Savi, that the 33 or the group we've trained with was quite competitive, and that, you know, we have a bigger core group than we had in the past, where we only maybe had 18 or 20. I do think that from this group, 5 or 6 that stayed back in Bangalore could have easily made this squad as well. And that made my choice as a coach a lot tougher. And yeah, as I said, as a coach, you have to make decisions. I also know how it works with media and performing at the same time. Yeah, going back to you know, my decisions, I stand by them. I think you see Savi today also because she played the Pro League matches like she did. And I think you see some of our key players with in the center mid or on the midfield. Why? Because they now know how to play countries like Netherlands, countries like Germany, countries like whoever. And you don't have to it doesn't matter who Netherlands field. They always finish top 3 in the world. Honestly, they have 50 good players over there that can easily compete with anyone else. And I think we have to go there. And I think India has the talent for sure. I've coached under 21 team for a long time now as well, and they are incredibly talented. But it's more about exposure for us. We need to play these top countries more consistently at a high level in games that matter, because that's where you learn. That's where you actually learn.
Thank you. That's exactly what I expected, and I hope to hear, because we never played the top 3 or 4 teams in the past, even unlike China or Korea. That's why China and Korea do better than us historically. But my other question, I'm so sorry, to both Nandini and to you, which is a tough one. It's a political question because it interests me a great deal. Against
if
Germany,
it's a political question, I'll come back to you with probably a personal chat with Yannicka sometime.
No, okay. But let me ask it anyway about the timer, the clock. Against Germany in the bronze medal match in Tokyo, we know what happened. Extra 40 or 20 seconds were given because mysteriously the clock stopped functioning. Mysteriously, some English official made a major goof up, which brings great discredit to the people who are organizing the tournament. Is there a way of publicly naming and shaming such people who are responsible and who spoil the game and give a little bit of a advantage to one of the teams, knowingly or unknowingly?
You know, I don't know if it's political or not. Like, I know from what I experienced against Australia, it's not the umpire's fault at that point. You know, they come to me very apologetic. What I hope is that at some point people in the FIH just consider what is happening and consider the situation. In the case of our game, that shootout took longer than 8 seconds. It was a save and it was all clear. So why, even if the clock didn't
by Tuesday, no? So the finalist, the men's finalist.
Sorry about that. I've muted Uttara. Go ahead, Coach. Sorry.
So I think, and that is what I've requested. Like, just don't only look at the rules. Like, no one understands this. Like, we don't understand. But Australia didn't complain. They didn't complain that they missed their shootout because the clock didn't go. So I think there's so much more human to the sport than just rules. And I understand we need rules. But if you ask me, we can't change it. We can just accept it. And that's what we did to the best of our ability. Did it hurt us? Of course it hurt us. But, you know, you move on and you go further.
Right. Thank you, Jitendra sir, for your questions. Moving on to Sandeep, you have a question?
Yeah, thanks, Nandini. Hi, Savita and Yanake. First of all, congratulations for the bronze medal match. Savita, मेरा प्रश्न आपसे है. आप लोगों ने अभी दो बड़े-बड़े मेजर इवेंट्स खेले हैं. नॉर्मली हॉकी में ऐसा होता नहीं है कि दो लगातार बड़े इवेंट्स बैक टू बैक होते हैं. आप लोग कितना अभी कितना एग्जॉस्टेड है या कितना बेसिकली हाँ कितना एग्जॉस्टेड है और कितना आप लोगों ने एनर्जी स्पेंड किया बोथ मेंटली एंड फिजिकली?
Savi, you're on mute, I think.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, definitely हमारे लिए आज अभी शायद बॉडी को अलाउ करेंगे जैसा वो रिएक्ट करना चाहती है. टायर्ड है तो हम टायर्ड फील करेंगे और हैप्पी है तो हैप्पी फील करेंगे. बट या उससे पहले वर्ल्ड कप से पहले भी हमारे मैच थे, प्रो लीग के मैच थे, देन वर्ल्ड कप था और आज फिर उसके बाद में कॉमनवेल्थ था. तो बैक टू बैक काफी हमारे मैचेस रहे और काफी सब मैच बहुत क्लोज मैच थे, अच्छे मैच थे, हार्ड टीम टॉप टीम्स के साथ हमारे मैचेस हुए. बट या शायद फिजिकली तो टायर्ड है ही है बट मेंटली भी शायद अभी थोड़े रेस्ट की जरूरत है. बट ये जर्नी हमने स्टार्ट करने से पहले ही पता था कि ओके हमारा इतना लंबा टूर रहेगा और हमें मेंटली भी बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग रहना पड़ेगा और सबने शायद अपना काम अच्छे से किया.
Right, fantastic. Arnab from TOI has a question. Go ahead, Arnab.
Hi, Arnab here. Congratulations, coach. Congratulations, Savita. Question, Savita, आपसे है. आप एक बार वर्ल्ड कप के पहले आपने बताया था कि आप पेनल्टी जो लाइक टाइब्रेकर के लिए आप ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस कर रहे थे. आपका एक पैर में चोट था, उसके वजह से आप अच्छा नहीं कर सकते थे. बट you have worked on it and you have really done well. We saw how good you were today. And but आप all over goalkeeping के आप कितना improve किए हैं और आप कैसे काम किए goalkeeping के ऊपर आप बता सकते हैं?
या डेफिनेटली बहुत काम किया है. हर एक प्लेयर ने अपनी पोजीशन पे किया है. वैसे ही हमने गोलकीपर्स ने भी अपने गोलकीपिंग पे एक्स्ट्रा सेशन किए हैं. वीक में हमारे 2 to 3 गोलकीपर सेशन यानी कि के साथ होते थे जब हम बेंगलोर में थे और शूट आउट की भी ट्रेनिंग होती थी प्लेयर्स के साथ. आफ्टर ओलंपिक हमें पता था कि ओके टीम ने ओलंपिक में अच्छा किया बट ये भी एक यकीन हो गया था टीम में कि हम और भी अच्छा कर सकते हैं. तो हम सब ने अपनी अपनी स्ट्रेंथ पे क्योंकि मेरी ये स्ट्रेंथ है तो मुझे इस पे और भी ज्यादा काम करना है ताकि टीम को काम आए. और उसी तरह हमने एज ए गोलकीपर मैंने भी अपनी शूट आउट पे या फिर गोलकीपर सेशन एक्स्ट्रा किए कि उससे टीम को हेल्प हो. और
Thank you. Coach, just
go ahead, Arnab.
one question. You said that you learned lessons from the World Cup. You said that you learned lessons from the World Cup. So can you just say what were the lessons?
I think, as a player and as a coach, you learn from every game. I think in the World Cup, whatever game it was, I think every player individually took a great lesson at the end of the World Cup. I had individual meetings with all the players. They took a lot longer than they normally do because I asked them to think about what is your key learning, and it can be happening in the Canada game. And I think every player I challenged to say, okay, when did you play well, when did you not play well? And I'm now talking not just about working hard, because our whole entire team works hard and I never fault them for not working hard, but we also want to play to our strengths. And you first have to understand your own strengths, and then as an individual player, are you bringing those strengths to the team? And why is that not happening, or why is that happening, or why did it only happen in these games and not in the others? And I think by challenging them and asking these questions individually, players made steps. And an example is that in the semi-final, of course, all the players were sad, but one of our defenders was crying. And I said to her, why are you crying? I know we've lost, so you're sad. And she said, yeah, but it's now the first time in the semi-final that I actually played, that I actually played and wasn't so afraid, and we still lost. And I said, yeah, that is part of the game. The other team is also good, and we can be the best we can be, and we can still lose a game. That is part of sports. But for me, that is where the lessons came into play, and I've seen every player making steps, and some go quicker than others. And but that's crucial in our life as athletes and as coaches, that we learn.
Thank you, coach.
Thanks for telling
All the best for the
us that
future.
in detail, coach. I have one or two questions actually, because I'm just super excited. Savi, firstly to you, that welcome by the Indian men's team, where they stood, in a line, clapped for you guys. How special was that, really?
It was very special for us, and even हमारे लिए सरप्राइज था. मुझे बिल्कुल भी मुझे लगता है किसी को भी आइडिया नहीं था, और मैंने उनको वो चीज बोली कि हमें बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा लगा. और क्योंकि कल उनका भी मैच है, और हमें लगा कि ओके ठीक है, वो सब अपने ऑफकोर्स हमारे लिए खुश होंगे, बट ये हमने नहीं सोचा था कि ओके वो वेट कर रहे होंगे और हमारा वेलकम करेंगे. पूरी टीम को बहुत अच्छा लगा. सबका देखते ही ओके दिल खुश हो गया कि ओके क्योंकि हमें पता है कि हॉकी के लिए हॉकी का मेडल आना कितना जरूरी है, और हमने भी उनसे यही मांगा है कि हमें सिर्फ कल गोल्ड चाहिए. Yeah.
That was actually very sweet. We saw that video and we were like, wow, they can actually be really sweet. So,
Yeah.
But Savi, tell me, we've beaten Australia in the past, but we've never beaten New Zealand. And I was going through somebody's stats, and they had mentioned that in 11 years we've not beaten New Zealand. So can you tell me what was going on in your mind going into this match, especially after losing that game in the World Cup where we couldn't go into the quarterfinal directly?
Yeah, of course पिछले 4-5 साल में मोस्टली सब टीम्स के साथ हम मैच खेले हैं, चाहे वो प्रैक्टिस मैच है या टूर्नामेंट में है या प्रो लीग में है. बट न्यूजीलैंड के साथ काफी साल से नहीं खेले हैं. 17 में उनके साथ खेले थे, और थोड़ा ये भी था कि ओके ठीक है, वर्ल्ड कप में जो रिजल्ट रहा कहीं ना कहीं वो भी माइंड में था. बट एक ये चीज जरूर थी कि जब हम वर्ल्ड कप में भी मैच लूज किया था, तो शायद उस दिन भी हमारे शॉट ऑन गोल ज्यादा थे, हमारे पेनल्टी कॉर्नर ज्यादा थे. तो वो एक कॉन्फिडेंस था कि हाँ, ये जरूर पता था मैच टफ होने वाला है. बट ये था कि ओके, अगर हम जो कोच ने हमें बोला कि डेफिनेटली हम न्यूजीलैंड के साथ रिसेंटली ज्यादा मैच नहीं खेले हैं, बट हमें सिर्फ हमारी परफॉर्मेंस पे फोकस होना चाहिए, जो हमारी स्ट्रेंथ है उस पर हमें खेलना है, और लेट्स सी कि क्या रिजल्ट रहता है. तो टीम का वही एक प्लान था जो कोच ने बताया कि ओके, हमें सिर्फ हमारे प्लान के अकॉर्डिंग खेलना है और फाइट करनी है, और वो शायद सबने की. बट डिफिकल्ट तो था, क्योंकि सब टीम्स के साथ हम पिछले कुछ टाइम में मैचेस खेलते आ रहे हैं, बट न्यूजीलैंड का ज्यादा कुछ पता नहीं था. पर ये चीज हमें बहुत हेल्प की, जो कोच हमें हमेशा बोलती रहती है, सामने कौन है, हमें उस टीम की रिस्पेक्ट होनी चाहिए, बट हमारा फोकस जो हमारी खुद की क्या हमने मीटिंग में प्लान किया है, क्या हमारी स्ट्रेंथ है, हमें हमेशा उस पर खेलना चाहिए.
Right. That there are no more media questions, but just to wrap it up, Jan, coming back to you, there was so much talk. I know you addressed this earlier in the press conference as well, and I'm coming back to you with that same question. There was so much buzz around this whole, clock not starting on time and all of that. And as a coach, how did you deal with it? Because I know there were so many people telling you, why you're not filing a protest, what action are you taking, all of that. And the only thing you said was, we're going to move on and we're going to focus on the next match. And that's exactly what you did. But as a coach, this kind of situation, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I always tell the girls, and you have to practice what you preach sometimes. Like, I can't control that at that point. And, when the umpire came to me in that moment and said it has to be a retake, the girls were really upset, the 5 that had to take it. And, Shami was already waiting a long time, and then it changed everything. And, yeah, I have to accept it at that point, because I can get angry, but that I don't help the team with. I'm not convinced. So I tried to move on pretty quickly. And then after the game, the umpires were very apologetic. The umpire manager was actually saying to me, do you want to come to the officials table and discuss? And I said, look, I don't really understand what there's to discuss, because you made a mistake, and instead of, you know, just letting it be because there was no impact on this game, you decided to follow the rules, and it arguably has cost us. We will never know that now, but it is of course a very big difference if you go into a shootout with the stop of your goalkeeper. You know, for our players, it would have been a different way of starting that series. And I said, well, I said, there's no point in talking. And just for everyone in the press, like, I have experiences with filing protests, and you have to do it. And in the end, in the rules, it clearly states that if it's a human error, they're not going to change anything. So there's no point. So the only thing I was saying to the girls, there's no point. Have we been robbed? Maybe. It's also not Australia's fault. You know what I mean? And they did what they had to do afterwards, and we didn't. Yeah, it's tough, but we have to move on because, like I said, I can't control it. And, you know, that is the best that I could come up with at that point. I wasn't really angry. I was very frustrated with it, to be honest, and disappointed, because I think we and Australia also deserved a clean winner and not someone that allegedly had all this weird stuff going on.
Right. I just have one last question, I think, from Shubhashish. Shubhashish, if you can go ahead.
Janaki, you looked pretty upset when Australia was actually given the retake. So my question for you is, when New Zealand were awarded a penalty stroke in the very last minute, what was going through your mind at that stage, given what had happened in the Australia match, that we played really well and hadn't made it, and here New Zealand get a penalty stroke in the last minute after we've played so well? What was going through your mind? And what did you tell the girls after the regulation time and before the shootout to calm them down?
Yeah, I told what I thought was, yeah, of course. I thought first, that was the word in my head. Of course, this happens. You know, we're not ever very lucky, I would say. And then, you know, it is what it is, and the ball goes in, and then it's just changing your mindset. And the only thing I said to the girls is, look, we knew that this wasn't going to be easy today. We'll just do it the hard way today. We just do it the hard way, and we know we can do it. And from that moment on, you know, Savi did what she needed to do. The 5 takers did what they needed to do, and they took responsibility again. And, you know, I have confidence in them, and I know we can win shootouts. So, you know, I wasn't necessarily worried about it. I was just hoping that for once, you know, the quarter falls our way, and it did, because we fought hard for it and we did well.
Thanks, Janaki, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So much, Coach and Savi. Enjoyed this evening, and thank you so very much for this special performance, and looking forward to see you all in India and celebrate with you guys.
Thank you so much, Dee.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining. See you soon. Hopefully after the gold medal tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.